So last week at the Old Farts lunch, I very rashly said that I will get one of my two bikes running and ride it to lunch this week, which is today. And here sitteth my little 500 Triumph, 1968 Triumph. It was a single carb model. I put two carbs on it, and it hasn't been running about forever, but I just turned on the battery and it's live. We have half a tank of gas, which is weird because I usually drain tanks, but it smells okay. And we just got a good tickle, and we did clean the pilot jets, so they're clean. And I'm going to go over and kick on it for a little while and see what happens. Here we go. Good snap. Double check tickle. Good kick tickle. Good tickle. I'll show you a couple of things that are neat about it. That's a charge indicator. Oil pressure gauge. I rerouted the oil lines on the rockers from the bolt and put them out here on the end of the rocker shaft, like on 650. I did that years ago just for the heck of it. That's my alley from when it fell over. And the ignition switch is hidden inside the hole in the frame that they used to support the frame when they were building the bikes. It's not necessarily a sidecar fitting. It's how they suspended the frame on the assembly line. I lowered the rear 1 inch, lowered the front end 2 inches. Later model forks, Norton style scrubbers. I wanted the biggest headlight I could find, so this is a nice big headlight. Got a little buff here from the cables when they were rubbing. This is Woodstock, and Woodstock is the companion to Snoopy, and Snoopy lives over here on the Norton. You know, we could actually try to fire up the Norton today too. See, here's Snoopy on the dashboard of the Norton. So I did not expect that to start that easily. We'll juice up the tires, and I'll take it to lunch today. Huh. What do you think? Should we put the Norton up there?
Might as well.
hadn't been
Again,
around.
I would argue just try to start it right there.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
That's your compulsive.
Yeah.
It'll start it.
We got to put it on the lift and check
it'll
it
start
out.
up. It'll start up.
Oh, I know. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if the battery's up. Well, I think we'll put this on the lift next and see if it'll go. And there sits Fred. We've got a lot of stuff in shop for Fred. Got the new tires. And over here, this whole shelf is, there are the horns, and there's the air filter, and the new chain, and stuff. So still got parts coming in, and we're gonna paint the tank a nice, I think probably close to candy, but a nice bright red with gold decals. So Fred's coming along, and Woodstock's running, and Starship Snoopy next, maybe. Interesting day. All right, well, the Starship Snoopy's on the lift. We dropped the float bowl off the car, cleaned it out. The floats were kind of sticky. We took the pilot jet out of the Mikuni and cleaned that. The tank was drained, so we put about half a gallon of gas in it, sloshed it around, and then drained it out. And now we have fresh gas in there. We have light, so the battery's up. We don't know if we have enough battery to turn over the motor yet. So this is going to be a completely cold start, not having tried it at all, to see if it will fire up after having sat for, I don't even know how long it's been sitting. So we have a headlight, but I don't know if we have enough to crank the motor. Let's find out. Petcock on. Petcock on. Mikuni. I got a choke, but I'm not sure I'm going to use it. The choke is actually on. I'll put the choke on. Ignition. Run. From something. Let's turn these petcocks off. And gotta find out what's leaking.
Yeah.
And
For a grip.
I mean, that started right now. Thank you very much.
You know, Frank, you've got these things in such a good state of tune that, engines want to run. And again, if you do simple things like we did, clean out, the pilots and stuff in case there's goop in there, fresh gas, and boom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Got a little gas leak on the probably the gas lines themselves. We'll put it back up in the air and check that out. But I mean, it jumped. It came right back. Yeah, it's a great bike. All right, the leaking gas was because of the floats were sticking inside the carb. Actually, not the floats as much as the actual little gas valve, of which is laying right there. This guy, the little needle in there. Let's see. Let me get my hands on here. There, this guy. This needle was a little sticky, so we cleaned all that out. And while we're at it, we cleaned everything else. We just took all the bits and pieces out and shined them up, cleaned them up, and the floats are beautiful. And we're going to put it back on now. Put it together and put it back on. We'll do another start, and should idle just sweet. Here we go. All right, so we cleaned the float valve. Well, we cleaned just about everything in the carb. We took the carb off and cleaned it all the bits and pieces that we should have done the first time. And it's tight. We got the petcocks are on, and there's no leak. So we'll start the bike in just a moment. I thought I'd show you the alternator, Alton starter down here. That's the Alton starter kit. You use the stock cover on your primary case, so it looks stock. They do give you the back of the primary case is all new, as are all the bits and pieces inside. New alternator. Clutch stays stock, but you get a whole new alternator and the starter, and it's wonderful. You know, quick one button push and it starts. I put that on one night. I was sitting in the dark at a lonely traffic light, and I looked in my and the bike stalled. Okay, as Norton's will do. And I looked in my mirrors, and there were cars coming up behind me, and I knew they were flying. And I was at this dark intersection at a stoplight. And I tried kicking. I'm not a big guy, so I had tried holding the bike up and kicking, trying to get it to start. And finally it did start. And I pulled a whole shot, and those cars were all over me. And I think I would have been killed if the bike hadn't started. So that the next morning I ordered the electric start. I said, you know, that's not going to happen to me again. So the next morning I ordered the electric start. It came in, I put it in, and I have been a happy camper ever since. Okay, all of the electrics are handled by this one switch assembly. Everything's right here. Lights, everything, turn signals. Over here I have the starter button and a run kill switch, and that's all. This is a hydraulic front brake. That's a different manufacturer. This is a hydraulic clutch. So the bike has a hydraulic clutch, which is really nice. Oh, that is so nice. Gosh, what else? On the dashboard, I put the ignition up on the dash, and I have a voltage monitor that tells you whether or not it's charging, and your turn signal indicators and your high beam indicator. And the switch is up there. The Mikuni, single Mikuni, I love them. We just took the whole thing off, put it back on. The only thing holding it on is a rubber manifold. So you undo this, the whole thing pops right off. That's really nice. Easy on, easy off. Pancake air filter. And, gosh, just so many little things that I have done over the years. This is Sturgis 2009. Me and 200,000 Harleys. Let me tell you, this bike turns some heads. That is so much fun to take a bike like this to Sturgis. And that's Snoopy on the dashboard. This is the Starship Snoopy.
Did you add the damper?
Oh yeah, I added the damper to steering damper. That was, gosh, ever so long ago. I was on a trip to California, and the front tire really needed to be changed. And I went into a tank slepper on a on-ramp, and I had to ride it down to a stop. And we stopped off, and John Ebert changed that tire. We went to a dealer, got a tire, and John Ebert changed it for me in the in the parking lot. And when I got home, I put the steering damper on it. Things you learn. Rear sets on it. I offset this passenger peg. I built this because, like my girlfriend at the time, we went from here up to Colorado to go to a rally, and about halfway up there she climbed off the bike and darn near fell over because her foot on the stock peg had melted the heel of her boot. One unhappy lady, I got to buy her boots in Colorado. So I built this offset to put their foot outboard. What else? Oh my gosh. The starter, the kickstarter is gone. I took it off. I mean, I've got an electric start, never fails. I took it off, but it's in the fastback section. I have it with me. It's in there just in case. 7-gallon gas tank, I think it is. Interstate gas tank, fastback rear section, Reed Titan. Reed Titan fairing. They still make this fairing. That surprises me because I put that on a lot of years ago, but they still make it. And then there's this custom front fender. That's a pretty setup there. It's so pretty, I duplicated it on the Triumph. That fender there is on my Triumph also. So those are real, honest-to-God Dunstall DB mufflers. They're not imitation. I bought those and put those on the bike in 1975. Actual, honest, real Dunstall DB exhaust system. Not imitation, not aftermarket. So, it's a neat bike, isn't it? A lot of years, a lot of miles. We were going, my wife and I were going from Phoenix to Cortez for a Norton rally, and we were crossing the Indian Reservation on this bike. And there was an RV up in front of us, and we were booking. I mean, we were booking, and we blew around that RV like so fast you wouldn't believe it. I mean, what? And we were gone. So we get to the rally, and we stopped, and we're sitting there talking to friends, and that RV pulled into the campsite. And it was Brian Slark. Now, Brian Slark is Mr. Norton, worked at the factory for years and years and years, has forgotten more about Nortons than anybody on earth will ever know. And he walked up to me and said, "Oh, I thought that was you, Frank, out there where you blew my doors off." And it was. I said, "Yep, that was me." I don't know. We must have been pegging that needle when we blew by him. Yeah, so anyway, that's the bike. I'm going to go ahead and do a start now and see how it goes. I'm just going to leave the video running. Actually, yeah, key on and reach over and hit the button and see how it goes. Yeah, we don't need those. Just key on. And I don't know if we need them. That's about an 800 RPM idle, guys, and it'll do that all day long. Okay, reach over and turn it off. I'm going to tell them another Brian story. So we were at that same rally. We were, sitting around, and I had started my Norton, and it was sitting there idling just like that. And Brian Slark walked by. And he looked at my bike, and he shook his head, and he looked at me and said, "What's that noise?" And I said, "What noise?" And he turned and he walked away. And I kept following him, yelling, "Brian, what noise? What noise? Brian, what'd you hear? What'd you hear?" Little Brian Slark humor. "Yeah, what's that noise?" And walks away. I love that guy. So anyway, that's the Starship Snoopy. Isn't it a neat bike? A lot of miles. Cheryl and I rode this through a lot of states, a lot of times. At first it was a touring bike. We had a big white touring bearing on it. Trying to remember the name. It was huge. Looked like the front end of a 747. And big white police saddlebags that I actually wrote to Norton in England and said, "Can I buy some of those police saddlebags? Because they don't sell them here in the States." And they said, "Yeah, we'll arrange you. We'll ship them to your local friendly Norton dealer and you can get them through there." And that's how this bike ended up with police saddlebags on it. I had them for years, and then eventually I gave them to John Ebert, and he had them on his bike for years. They're probably still in the corner somewhere. And it was a touring bike for years and years and years. Cheryl and I did a lot of touring on it. And then I cafe'd it, and it was yellow, so we called it the Starship Banana. And then I redid it. I don't even remember what year I redid it and did the candy apple red with the gold. and put Snoopy on the dashboard. Snoopy on the dashboard is a safety device. Snoopy here is actually part of the safety of the motorcycle, because when I'm going down the road, if he ever turns around and says, cut it out, you know, cut it out. So he's my safety monitor. Anyway, that's the story of the Starship. Starship Snoopy and the shuttlecraft Woodstock. Snoopy's buddy, right up there in the dashboard. The shuttlecraft Woodstock and the Starship Snoopy. So, a lot of miles, single Mikuni. There's a Boyer in there that I put in it probably in 1975. I mean, it has never missed a beat ever since I put it in this bike. It runs like a top. So, don't hesitate to go electronic. They're really cool. That's about it. I'm going to hang this up and publish it later on. Isn't this a heck of a bike? Honda Valkyrie. 2013?
2014.
2014.
With 36,000 miles.
36,000 miles on it.
Single owner.
One owner.
All service records available.
Dealer maintained. All records available. Isn't this pretty? He's selling this for a friend. It is lovely. My goodness.
Lots of extras.
Oh, yeah, got a lot of extras.
See, tire pressure monitoring system, GPS, saddlebags, jackets and helmets go with it.
Wow.
Service manual, owner's manual. There's a lot of goodies.
I tell you what, that is a fine looking bike. And I sat on it. It's got about a 12-inch seat height. It's gorgeous. I'd jump on that in a heartbeat if I were just a little bit younger. Okay. What's he asking for it?
He's asking $8,900, but he's flexible.
$8,900. Asking.
See you at lunch.
Go for it. That's a lovely bike. That's a go anywhere bike. Okay, well, I'm gonna hang this up. I'm gonna hang these up. I'm gonna wash laundry. Got a lot of greasy gasoline cloths here. I'm gonna shut this off and go post it.